So welcome to the show, everyone, and as all of you know, I made it possible for everybody to talk about themselves on the radio. And if you want to get yourself heard, just give us a call here at the station at 602-277-5369, or toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100 to get yourself heard on Networking Arizona. Check it out at networkingarizona.net. I'm going to go right away with networking with all of you people because we have a lot of guests here today. My first guest has been on with me before. I have Diana Taylor Hart, and she is the author of Going Home. Welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you, Carol, for having me back on.
I want you to talk a little bit about your book and where to get it, and a little bit about yourself as well.
Okay, well, Going Home is my second book in the El Pueblo series. It is set in southern Arizona, and the main character is Samantha, better known in the book as Sam. Sam is suddenly summoned to her estranged grandparents' estate. And after a vicious confrontation with them, her ex-husband, Peter Samuels, and his lovely wife, Sarah, Sam receives an urgent message from the school psychologist regarding a 5-year-old little girl. And from that moment on, Sam is very concerned about this young child and her older sister, and she wants to know what is happening to them. She meets their alcoholic father and discovers that their mother is missing. And it makes you wonder, what happened to this young woman? Why would she leave her children behind? Is she still alive or is she dead? And then Sam comes into contact with Billy Diaz, and he is a predator who is stalking the little girls. And now he's coming after Sam. And you don't know what this villain is going to do. There are twists and turns throughout the book.
Now you can get this book. You told me before we came on the air that it's at Amazon.com, but that people have to type in your name, which is Diana Taylor Hart, and that's spelled H-A-R-T, in the search bar.
That is correct. It will take it directly to the Moving On and Going Home page.
Okay, so again, it's Diana Taylor Hart, H-A-R-T. You can also go to her website, which is dianataylorhart.com. And are you a native?
Yes, I'm a native Arizonian. I was born in Tucson, and I have lived my entire life here.
You know what I love? I love reading books about a place where I'm from. You know,
Well,
even if you're not from, even if you've just been living here and you know the area, you just get right into it, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Now, what compelled you to write Moving On and Going Home?
Well, I lost a family member, and I have to tell you, I was absolutely devastated. And I began writing Moving On as an outlet with my grief, and it really did help. Once I finished the novel, I began to wonder what would happen to Sam and Thomas. Would they make it to the altar? Would they drift away? Would Sam still be the elementary school principal in the barrio? Or would Peter come back for her? I didn't know any answers about these questions, so I sat down and started writing Going Home.
And when you started to write it and you said that it helped you with your grief.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was a very hard time for me, and just writing helped, because I think with Sam, I poured out my grief.
Now again, this book is the one that she's talking about today is Going Home, and you can get it at Amazon.com, and you make sure that you put in her name in the space bar, or the search bar if you call it that now, and that is Diana Taylor Hart, H-A-R-T. Check her out on her website, which is DianaTaylorHart, H-A-R-T.com. And I want to kind of talk a little bit also about how one thing about the books, because are they in sequence? Is it a good idea for them to read them like the first one first or not, or does it matter?
It would probably be better to read them in order, but they each stand alone. So you can go back and figure out what was going on in Moving On. And in Going Home, you learn a lot more about Sam. And Moving On, the story begins over 4 days. And Moving On, it's a little bit longer.
Did you do this in sort of spontaneously, or how did you end up, getting it all out there?
Well, first of all, I didn't believe I was going to write a series. But then I started thinking about going home. And so I am an outlaw writer, and I write mostly spontaneously. And I began to think, in Going Home, what would I do next? And I thought about the criminal cases that victimize children and adults, and I wanted them to have a voice. And for that, I started, when I really started thinking about it, I had to have some characters. And then I began writing their storylines that would intertwine throughout the novel.
So can you kind of give us an idea before we go to a break about how they intertwine and just a little bit of an idea of what they're about?
Well, at the beginning you have this 5-year-old little girl that's being stalked and her older sister, and you really don't know what happens to her. And then you have, as I mentioned, Billy Diaz. He is the predator, and he really is the villain of villains to come. And then there's family, and there is Sam has 2 sets of grandparents coming to live with her, and that's not about a lot of fun. And then you end up with Peter Samuels and Sarah, his lovely wife, and you get to meet all these different characters, and they all have their own way of going on.
Now, it's the summertime, and everybody loves a good summer read.
Absolutely.
So this is a really great summer read, and it would be helpful if you read the first one, which is Going Home.
The first one is Moving On.
Going Home is the second one, but if you don't, it's okay too. Check them out on the website, which is DianaTaylorHart.com, or you can also go to Amazon.com. You can get them there, but you got to put her name in the search bar, which is Diana Taylor Hart, HART.com. And before we go to a break, I absolutely love to read, especially the types of books that are, they're riveting. You can't wait to get to the next page to see.
And that's what a lot of people have told me, that they can't, it's been really kind of funny. They've said, well, I couldn't put the book down until I finished it. And and then others will say, oh my God, I had to stay up all night reading it. It is a fast page turn. And I was very fortunate that I received 2 fabulous reviews from Kirkus Reviews. Normally, for a first-time writer, you don't expect that. And I had an excellent review in Moving On as well as Going Home.
Well, congratulations on that. Well, we're
Thank
going to
you.
go to a break, and when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about it, about the book. I also want to talk about it being in southern Arizona, because that we all love, when you're reading books like that, you can really relate to them. So again, check her out on the website. It is DianaTaylorHart, HART.com, and you can go to Amazon.com, but put that name, Diana Taylor Hart, HART, in the search bar. Otherwise, you're not going to find her. So you have to do that. We're going to come back in just a minute, and we want to talk further about this because everybody loves a summer read. Again, it's Diana Taylor Hart, HART.com. We'll be back in just a minute. So welcome back. We are talking with Diana Taylor Hart. She is an author right from here in Arizona. She is an Arizonian, she said. Her book today we're talking about is Going Home. And, at the break, we were kind of talking a little bit about what, kind of what the book is all about, and having, just get them to go, wow, I just can't wait to get it. Go ahead.
Well, it's absolutely a mystery, and it is romance, and it is the old Pueblo, in the old Pueblo, and the old Pueblo in Arizona's nickname, is the nickname for Tucson, and so that's how the story began.
Now, who doesn't like mystery and romance? They always go together, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. And even if you're not a person that likes romance, it's always there, no matter what. And it's about people that care about who they are and how to help other people.
Would you say now, as we were listening, to you talk about how it's a little romance and mystery, though, is it for anybody? Like some books are more for women than others.
I've had men read the books and women read the books, and they love it.
Again, you can get this at Amazon.com, but you got to put her name into the space bar, Diana Taylor Hart, and it's H-A-R-T. Also, you can check her out at Diana Taylor Hart, HART.com, and you can see all about her there. Okay, you had a question here, and I kind of want to know what you mean by the question, which is, so far the novels deal with the American education system. So what did you mean by the question, and what's your background with that?
Well, I do believe in education, and I think we need to do better. I taught in the elementary schools in southern Arizona in the barrio, and from pre-K all the way through 6th grade. And I really enjoyed working with my students and their parents, and I taught their children critical thinking skills. And by that I mean teaching them listening, reading, writing, and analyzing. And this helped them develop their full potential throughout the curriculum. And for example, if I was doing a story in the classroom, I would begin to ask questions regarding where the main setting is. Was that important? What about the characters? Who these characters were? What did they do? Did these characters have problems? And if so, how did they solve these problems? Could they have solved them differently? And then also, when we finished that discussion, we went on to talk about the themes in the book. And over the school year, the children became very curious about learning. They began asking their own questions and analyzing their data, even if we were working on a story or a science project.
So it's sort of been in you for a long time.
Oh yes, I really, I miss teaching. I really, really do.
Okay, now in your book, I want to know a little bit about Samantha or Sam. Let's talk about her, or him.
Okay, well, Sam is definitely the main character in the El Pueblo series. In moving on, she is 27 years old and still grieving the loss of her 5-year-old daughter. She is a first-time elementary school principal in the barrio, and on her first day on the job, she walks into her office and finds the superintendent sprawled across her desk. From that moment, the mystery begins there. Now, over a year later, in going home, Sam is now married to the love of her life.
The superintendent?
No, not the superintendent, but the love of her life, Thomas Ryan. And she is still missing her daughter, but she is very concerned about these two little girls, especially regarding their abusive father and the stalker, Billy Diaz. And she just doesn't know what's going to happen to them. Sam faces a lot of challenges that awaits her with spine-tingling danger as she unravels some horrifying secrets.
Well, everybody loves a summer read, and you can do these books in in sequence or not, it's sort of up to you. It kind of is better if you do, but if not, it's okay. You can get it at Amazon.com and just put in her name, Diana Taylor Hart, H-A-R-T, right in the search bar there. You can also check her out at on her website, which is Diana Taylor Hart, Hart.com. You know, obviously when you were talking a little bit about this person, it sounded like a little bit about you. Is that a correct statement?
I think a bit, but not much.
Okay.
Sam is very feisty to begin with, and yet she's very fragile. Even though she's 28 years old and going home, Sam is an old soul. And she has had some awful knocks in her life. She lost her parents at age 17 and her daughter to leukemia. And I think that she really wants to help people. And she'll go out of her way to do that. And in my own life, I have been my mother's caregiver and my brother's. And I certainly understand her losses. I lost my mother and just recently my brother.
I'm sorry to hear that, you know, but it's very hard for everybody.
Absolutely.
I know what that feels like too, because I did too. But now, so what are your plans now for your next book? And is it going to obviously go into, you know, that's where you just can't wait to get till it comes out?
Well, the third book in the El Pueblo series is called Finding Justice, and Sam is going to be in court testifying against Billy Diaz. And the book will probably be coming out in the fall. And right now I'm in the process of doing some editing, and that takes a lot of time. And you go over it and over it more than one time.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening.
So exciting. Now, in the entire series, I don't know, do you have it planned out yet to how many there are going to be, or is it going to be sort of like, well, let's see what happens?
I really don't know what's going to happen. I would probably think I would do at least 5 or 6 books, but it just depends on what goes on. And if I do stop the series, then I think I will start a different type of book and go a different direction. It's interesting because, you know, when I'm writing, I really am spontaneous. I don't know who the character is going to be, but if I need that character, it pops up. And I'll give you an example. In Moving On, I needed a character because of Sam's former father-in-law. And I didn't have his name. I just didn't think about it. His name became Henry Samuels. It just pops up. And so that's how that came about. And he is one of the most pivotal persons in this as the character in the books. And he is definitely will be in every book.
So in the mystery side of it, just because I happen to be a mystery lover, you
Okay.
know, tell us a little bit more about that, because we got a few more minutes. I'd like to talk about it.
Well, it really is definitely more mystery than it is romance. You see them all in different places. In many ways, Sam is protected by Thomas Ryan, who at the beginning, he had been there for her throughout her time with her daughter. Her ex-husband had definitely we all thought that he had died, but he did not. And you find that out in Going Home. The mystery is about the characters. And the characters actually drive the plot. And that's why when I say I'm spontaneous, they're the ones that are giving me the hints to which way they're going to go and which way I won't go. And it's an amazing journey. It really is.
Well, it is, like you said, it's set in southern Arizona.
Absolutely.
So if any of you ever read books that you just can relate to them, I know for me, anytime I read anything that has to do with here in Arizona or in California where I'm from, I just, right away, I relate to it.
Well, I'm glad because that's important. I think Arizona is one of the most beautiful states in this country, and I think it's a wonderful place to live. And I think that's why I decided to write about Arizona.
Well, not only is it a wonderful place to live, but it's also got so much history in its own self, you know.
Oh, absolutely, and it's so different from every state in the nation.
And if you're writing a little bit about mystery, what better place than to do it in Arizona and from an Arizonian herself?
Absolutely.
Now, again, this book is, this is the second book in the series. The third is going to be coming out in February.
No,
somewhere
no,
around?
No, in probably November.
Oh, in November, so you'll be able to kind of get to know what the new one is going to be about. There's going to be about 5 or 6 of them, she said, in the series. You can check her out on her website, which is DianaTaylorHart, HART.com. You can also go to Amazon.com. It's a great time for a summer read, guys. Get it now because it's getting hot. You can read in the house. So again, it's Amazon.com and put in Diana Taylor Hart, HART, right in the search bar.